Hey guys, so I'm testing out a new rig. I got my DJI Osmo Pocket hooked up to my Sennheiser G3. In another review, I'm going to share about this new microphone adapter that just came out for the Osmo Pocket and the rig I got set up here. It is incredibly windy out here at the beach, so I'm going to probably head back to my car and finish this vlog. So as I'm walking back in my car, I wanted to test out, see how well Wireless Lav Mic is going to work out in the open. I do not have a dead cat on this. I think it's an ME3 mic, and so ME2. So if it's a little bit windy, be a good test. I'll publish it anyway, so you can get a sense of what that sounds like. Definitely Wireless Lav hooked up to DJI Osmo is going to produce some pretty good sound results, hopefully. Otherwise, we'll see. I'm back in the car. So Seattle had probably a couple days of really, really warm weather. It probably tricked us into thinking that we were in summer, and we definitely are not summer. We still have the rainy season coming up, but Seattle had about 40 straight days of record cold weather, and so it was nice to have some cool sunny days, but I think the reality's hitting, and it is slightly sprinkly, a little cold. So I'm back into my car and I'll finish the rest. Hey, welcome back. In the next episode, I'm going to share a little bit more about my equipment setup. But for now, I want to just give you a preview of setting up my DJI Osmo with the Sennheiser Wireless Lav Mic. Today's topic, I'm going to focus a little bit on digital minimalism. I just finished reading Cal Newport's book on digital minimalism, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World. It was a fantastic read. Just really strategies and things that you can do to just live minimalistically in this digital world. The amount of data that we see in today's life is just exponential. It's so much more than we've seen before, and it's not going to get any better. It's only going to continue to get worse. And by worse, I mean the amount of information is going to increase. As humans, we only grow in a certain way, probably in a linear fashion, but computing power, information, data, it's growing exponentially. And how do we live in a minimalistic way with all of our digital? So let me take an example. Here's my iPhone and the screen time app, or the screen time analytics it's producing. In the last week, I spent an average of 3.5 hours per day on my device. That's definitely gone down quite a bit. That's not counting my laptop, so this is just my iOS device. Pickups, this one's really cool. I averaged in the past 7 days 93 pickups a day. I'm picking up my phone 93 times a day. Most of the time it's going to mail, followed by messages or SMS and Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot. 93 per day. I think going back before I was reading digital minimalism and before I was being intentional about how I used my devices, I was averaging about 150 a day, which is a lot, which means every few minutes I'm just picking up my phone, staring at it, and not having just a free moment to really think. One of the things I'm taking with minimalizing my digital life is just spending more time doing things, reflecting, getting away from that device, because it's really about distraction. That these devices are engineered for eyeball time, right? Facebook, Instagram, all these apps are really designed for you to spend as much time on those platforms as possible, and it's just mindless time. It's filling space that can be used for thinking, filling space that can be used for just improving yourself. And so one of the steps I'm taking with digital minimalism is to first just kind of get away from this device. The next book that I'm reading, I got a couple books reading at any given point, is a book, let's get the cover open. It is How to Break Up With Your Phone by Catherine Price. And so that was a follow-up to digital minimalism. I'm assuming this is going to be a set of steps and strategies to getting away from this device, or the phone in general. Now, generationally, I'm somewhere between a Gen X and a Gen Y. I'm dating myself because I call myself a Gen Y. Today, we call them millennials. But I'm really I think there's a sub-generation called Zennials, people that live just between the cusp of Gen X and Gen Y. So I grew up in a world where we had no devices, no phones. I grew up in a world where we used phones. I remember using a rotary phone at one point, being excited about switching to a wireless phone. And by wireless, I mean just wireless inside the house, not a cell phone. I remember living in a world with dumb phones and not just smartphones, and a world before the internet. And I think what that enables me to do is I've seen what both worlds are like. I've seen what it's like to live in a world where you have to pick up the phone, call a friend, sit down, set up a meeting, and go spend time and interact with a friend. I've been in a world where we've had lunch and we've looked at each other and there's nothing else to do and there's no distractions. And I've also lived in a world where it's digital and I am 100% in front of this thing all the time. I think one benefit of being a Zennial is I've seen both worlds, and one of the roles I think that the Zennial generation can do is to help bridge the gap between the digital natives, right? People that grew up in 100% digital. My son is in a world where he's 100% digital, into the older generation where they grew up in a world pre-digital. At my prime, at my peak, social media was just coming out, and so I was willing to adopt and learn. I was at the peak of my growth and learning period, and I was able to kind of pick up some of these digital tools and really adopt and adapt it. It is part of my life. But I also remember a period of time when these devices, these platforms, these tools just weren't part of my life. And so I've seen both worlds. I think there's something about trying to find that right balance. And that's why I think there's such a strong demand for books like Cal's on digital minimalism. There's lots of books coming out right now on just kind of recovering from this socially, digitally addicted world where we're so addicted. The world definitely needs to take a step back, not rid of these tools. Yes, I did delete Facebook, but it's not about living without these tools. I think it's how do you use these tools in a way that it's going to improve your life and not be addicted to it. Like, I'm not just another product on this platform, but I use the platform for my benefit to achieve what I want to achieve. And so I'm going to continue this journey a little bit more. Look forward to sharing it with you in this vlog series and sharing some of the steps. So right now I'm at 93 pickups per day. I really hope one of my goals is to get to a point where it's under 50. And even then, that's a fairly big number. And potentially I'd like to get that number even if it's smaller. I love vlogging. I love this new video format platform. I grew up in a world where it was writing paper journals, and then it was LiveJournal, if you remember that platform, into today's modern platforms of today, writing on probably a Medium. I'm going to start writing a Medium a little bit more, but more importantly, loving to share it on this digital community and on YouTube. So far, people have been really supportive, so I really appreciate the engagement I'm having with you guys. Give me a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. What steps are you taking? Do you believe me? Am I crazy? Tell me a little bit more. Okay, I got to end with another device edit. If you can see in this frame just right here, that is the antenna from my Sennheiser G3. So I guess I'm going to have to find a way to flip this device and get it out of the way. Otherwise, it's going to be in frame. So for now, let's see if I can push out of the way. Next time we'll see my much improved rig.